Hello, boys and girls. You are going to need to grab your beautiful cardinal drawings that we created last week, and you will also need to get your watercolors, a white crayon, and water and some paper towels. We are going to be painting these little lovelies today. Before we start with our watercolors, we're going to take this white crayon, and I'm sure you've known this trick. We've done it before in the art room. You're going to just take this and make little random dots just above that horizon line we drew. So we're not doing any below this because this is going to stay white underneath here, so we wouldn't see it anyway. So I'm just randomly kind of making dots. The more you make, the more it's gonna look like it's snowing on our little guy. So I'm just kind of pushing kind of hard so it will show up. All right, once that is done, we are ready to paint. We're gonna start by painting our subject, which is our cardinal and the branch. We're gonna save the background for a little bit later, so that'll be the last thing we do. So you're gonna get your brush nice and wet, and cardinals, as we know, are red, so we are going to dip into our red paint, and we are going to start painting in our cardinal. Now, you want to hold your brush like a pen or pencil, and I am just drawing along the edge of the wing to start, and I'm filling it in. I don't have a lot of water on my brush because I want this red to be super bright. If you put yours on and it looks really light pink, you just have too much water on your brush. So you may want to dab it off on your paper towel a little bit and then touch back into that red so it's nice and vibrant. If you're painting and let's say your brush is too dry, it might look like that where it's not spreading very nicely. So if that happens, what you need to do is just add a little bit of water to your brush, and then it will spread that color out nicely. So I'm doing a little more water on the tail, and I'm going to use a little more water on the body because I want the wing to be what's really, really bright. So I'm gonna continue painting this cardinal. We'll get him done here, and then I will show you the next step. So I'm gonna leave this to dry a little bit, and I'm gonna work on my branch. So I'm going to touch into the brown, and I'm gonna turn my paper this way, and I'm gonna start to fill in that brown on the branch. All right, so my cardinal is pretty dry to the touch already up there, so I'm going to go in with some yellow next, and I'm gonna do the beak, the feet, and the part of his eye. So I'm gonna do the beak, feet, and then outside ring in the eye. So this is where that pointy brush comes in really, really handy. Now while that yellow is drying, I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna do my little holly berries. All right, so this is still pretty wet up here, so I'm gonna wait a few minutes for it to dry. You could do the same. And then we will work on getting the little mask painted and then the background. All right, boys and girls, so I am back, and of course, as I was painting, my camera went out because my storage was full on my iPad, so you didn't get to see me finish in all of this stuff. So I'm gonna explain what I did. The magic of making videos here. So I went back to do the black here, and when you do this, you wanna make sure that your paintbrush is very, very pointy, and you're carefully filling in the edge and then filling in the area where his little mask is, and then I'm just doing the dot in the center of his eye. I also took my black and I drew a line along the edge of his wing. I added a few little extra lines with the black on my brush just to show some of the texture on his wings, and then also on the tail feathers. So I just added a few little lines there. I also did the background. Now, when you do this, what I did was I turned my paper upside down, and then I used just the blue, and I started by going just along this bottom edge here where I drew that line, so I've got snow on the bottom. Now, going in between these little branches is pretty tricky, so make sure that you're going slow and careful around all of those little pieces. And then as I moved upwards, I kind of had a little more water to my brush, and as I was filling this in, I kind of just went back and forth, so I turned my brush sideways to finish off the sky. Now, I chose to leave a little bit of white of the paper showing. I thought it looked kind of cool, kind of like a hazy winter sky with some clouds showing and stuff. If you want to do solid blue all the way up, that is perfectly fine. I also left a small little bit of white along the edges so my paper doesn't get too soggy and start curling, and then I get it all over my table as well. So it helps to keep things a little bit neater. So this is how the finished piece will look. You'll see the little snowflakes that we created with that white crayon show through. You can paint right over them, and the crayon, the wax resist, will show up. So we've done that technique before, so you should be familiar with that. Once your painting is done, the bottom stays white. You're going to photograph it and publish it to Art Sonia under Winter Cardinals. I can't wait to see your beautiful finished paintings, and I hope you all have a very happy, safe, and healthy holiday break, and I will see you back here in the art room in 2021.